What's up, Digihomies, and welcome to this recorded match for Psycho Turtles Tuesday Digimon tournaments. You've got this round one happening, and it will be Steven versus Abel, with Steven on Magnamon and Abel on Myotismon. Now, Myotismon, not exactly a deck that you've really seen running around in like top decks for this meta, but a deck that you should actually still be very careful about. I've played against it. It is super tricky. There is a lot of like interesting interactions that happen with some of the new tamers and some of the old Myotismons that finally get a really unique way to showcase like how scary of a Digimon they can actually be and why they're an antagonist inside the series. And of course, Magnamon, just the big bad of BT16, right? That X antibody is so powerful and so difficult sometimes to like really get rid of. But hey, you know what? There is still always a chance. That's why we've seen Numemon go to the top all the time. But this Myotismon is going to be starting out with an Ukomon, going for that one cost evolution with that BT16 Ukomon. The one that lets you look at the top three once a Digimon is moved from the breeding area. Gonna see the classic Vmon into a Vmon play here. Gonna look at the top cards here. Ooh, 2 Edamon, so only one target here for Steven. The Edamon, a very interesting tech, not one you usually see in Magnamon. You mostly see it inside of Numemon now and back up to the Myotismon side. Sorry about that glare, but you're going to see that search. There's going to be a Demi Vmon, an Arcanimon, and a Myotismon. Picking up the Demi V, going to hatch. We're going to bottom deck those 2 cards. So the really nice thing about the Ukomon is that you're able to get back at least a little egg, able to go for another Evo in the back. Not going to be doing so this time. An attack with the Ukomon is going to hit a blinding ray. No deletion, which means you're not able to pitch out a card for that on deletion inherit for that Ukomon. Seeing a blinding ray in security, though, like, you gotta feel good about it because there is no security trigger, and that means that's one less blinding ray you have to worry about for that Magnamon player. Another Ukomon in the back here for the Myotismon. We are just gonna have to give up that 1 memory. So now we're gonna get that search happening. So that Demivion that was possibly picked up before is gonna look at the top 4 cards. We're gonna see an option card there and 2 different versions of a Myotismon, and one of the Myotismon Ace is going to pick up the new BT16 Mellow Myotismon. And now it is going to be, you do have to pitch a card as well if you picked up. So it's actually a different ace because those are 2 different, those are 2 different. So we saw Vmon being pushed up here and is going to be attacking, hits into a Myotismon, does get deleted because that is only 1000 DP on here. And that Magnamon that we saw from earlier, that security effect one, is going to be able to Evo and strip that Demi-Maramon egg, and that Ukomon is going to get bounced back to hand, but we do have another Ukomon. It is going to get another search, so not 2 searches though, so it's a really good way for Magnamon to just prevent this search from happening. It's going to see a Louie, and it looks like 2 other Digimon, so you do have a chance to pick up one of those 3. Is going to be picking up, oh sorry, that is another tamer on there. Is going to be picking up the Digimon that was in the middle, which was a Myotismon. Is going to be able to hatch. You see a Cupimon here actually as an egg instead of another Demi-Mara, so could be running a variation of those 2 eggs. This Ukomon is going to be swinging, is going to get blocked this time, kind of what you want because that Demi-Mara allows you to pitch a card and draw 2. So we're going to see a level 5 getting pitched, allowing you to refill your hand. So the Magnamon just being like, okay, you know what, I just won't take the security hit. And you don't really have to worry about it because it's not, you have the armor purge available just in case something were to happen. So that Demi-Mara also able to attack, but you won't be getting anything beneficial from it in terms of inheritance. And these decks actually don't run any level 4, so you're not even going to be able to evolve on top of it to get an extra draw. So you're kind of in a weird pickle with trying to figure out how much memory you exactly want to give your opponent, because Magnamon is just such a scary deck to give more than the necessary memory. But we are seeing our 3rd BT16 Ukomon for another evolution there, and then it's going to be that Yu-Gi-Oh tamer from before, the old Yu-Gi-Oh tamer. So this is going to be the pretty art for it, and it's the one that says when a Myotismon is deleted, you can tap it to gain a memory, and then you can play one from your trash. So gonna see it, that old Searcher Vmon in the back as well. That Fire Rocket getting an extra security check, so that Vmon will get deleted on the 2nd check, having been forced to armor purge on that first one. And so, you know, at least you're just chunking down security, which is the most important thing. We are going to get into the search. We're seeing a Death X here. Only 1 target. Again, it is going to be the new Vmon here. We're bottom decking a Mental Training and a Death X mon, but I don't think you're really in a bad position here if you're magnamon. But that Ukamon, I think this is like what, the third turn in a row we are now seeing it. Only one target. We're seeing two options getting bottom decked, and it's going to be that new Arukenimon tamer that you are picking up. So now another Demimera. No more Ukomons here, but it is going to be a Devimon that's evoing in the back. So you at least get that little bit of draw without having to worry about giving up the memory here. You're in such an awkward spot though here as the Myotismon player, because you're not really seeing a lot of the pieces that you want, and it feels like the Magna is just going way too fast. But we are going to see that 2-cost option, which looks like Pandemonium Flame, just deleting their own Digimon to be able to delete that Vmon, is going to trash because of that Cupimon gain back a memory. And we are going to let that one slide, where they pitched a different Digimon. They decided to pitch an Ukamon, but changed their mind and grabbed back that Ukamon and pitched a Venom Myotismon instead. Just so you have at least more Digimon in the trash for that Yu-Gi-Oh! Tamer to be able to be activated. So you're now at that 0 memory, but again, that is a hand. If you're able to see it in that corner, that is a lot of 5s there. So going to be playing that Mumimon and Arukenimon tamer. And now that Wukamon does have jamming, is going to hit another tamer, so that's going to be another Yu-Gi-Oh! So you could at least get 2 activations of Yu-Gi-Oh! If you really needed to. Instead, we're going to get that evolution into Magnamon. That's the, I think, BT8 one that lets you, when Digivolving, you can unsuspend it. You get an extra DP boost for each armor in your trash. So currently going to be at 9k, is going to swing. It hits just a rookie, so it doesn't really have to worry about that. Has the potential to be that blocker if it really needed to be, and it looks like our Magnamon player is trying to figure out how to follow up this play. Oh yeah, when you're looking at that hand, there is not a lot you can really do. There is a plethora of actual option cards in there, and a Shu Yulin, but you might just have to hard drop a rookie here, so you can at least guarantee yourself game for next turn, because you do see that you have the Armor Purge and 2 swings there. Yep, and we see the scoop up here from the Myotismon player. So kind of in a rough spot, I think, if you're just kind of looking at that game, like especially if you're playing that Myotismon, right, you're not seeing a lot of the pieces that you need. You want to fill up your trash as much as possible with all of like your Myotismons, whether it's regular Myotismon or Mallow Myotismon or Venom Myotismon, just so you can get those triggers off of your tamers. And really, the Magnamon player, you are sort of just in the driver's seat here, because Magnamon is such a not easy deck to play, but it's very straightforward, right? Like, you just drop Vmons, you search for your pieces, you evo into a billion different choices of Magnamons, and then you go into your X antibody. Like, this is such a fascinating meta where a lot of our cards just let us skip over a bunch of like the levels we have. Like, you've got the Magnamons that can just ignore the level 5 evolution to go into Magnamon X antibody, and then you've got stuff like Rapidmon X that can be evoed. That Mega Gargo can evo on top of it. I think really, like, it's one of the few times where you can cut out levels to make room for other Digimon cards. I mean, obviously, right, one of the more powerful level 5 blue cards in this format is going to be that Zudomon A, so you're still going to have to worry about seeing that. But overall, like, Magnamon doesn't really have to worry about having 5s in general. And what's fascinating about these two decks is that they also don't really have to worry about certain levels, right? Like, when you're searching for cards, you're trying to figure out if your opponent is missing certain like 4s or 5s, or like what level they're missing to really make their game plan going. But both of these decks don't really require that. And so both of them have already like cut. We are going to be seeing if they're going to resolve mulligans here. Yep, we are going to see Myotismon going for the mulligan. Saw that really quickly and went, absolutely not. And actually, we are going to see the Magnamon player keeping in their hand. So I don't know about you guys, but when a Magnamon player keeps their hand, that's always very scary for me. It means that they have a gameplay, and it's kind of stressful. So the question does become though, like, well, whatever deck you're playing, like, when you lose that first game, do you want to go first or second against the Magnamon player? Because you know for sure that they can't choke you at 1, because I don't think any of them are really running Ukomons, right? And if you're the Myotismon player, you're totally fine if you can open up with an Ukomon, choke your opponent to 1, and then force him to give you at least 2 memory most of the time. So we are seeing the Myotismon player go first, but instead just going straight for that Tamer, that's a really rough choice to make. And as you can see the shuffling, that is not a great hand. We're going to see just the one of Bukomon here is going to be evoing for into that Vmon that searches, and then hard playing that Vmon that lets you gain a memory back for stuff, and changes the mind at the last second, evos in the back instead into a magnamon, and that's always really scary because that means you can tell that there's probably a magnamon X coming here. I think that would be another Pandemonium Flame just to delete that Vmon. That's that is not I think it is Pandemonium, or it's whatever option that lets you delete it. Magnamon checks an Ukomon, which you would have loved to see in your opening hand. We see the golden armor, and it is going to be that 3-cost evolution for Magnamon X. It's just a beautiful combination that you want to see if you're the Magnamon player. Hits a Tamer, doesn't have to worry about activations there, it gets an unsuspend. Yep, there is another Tamer there. And that is just super devastating to see, right? Like, yeah, the search, that's fine. You're giving yourself 3 memory, but that Magnamon essentially has 2 swings so long as it doesn't hit an option, and then that Vmon is happening. It's just one of those, like, that's just the fastest and most beautiful way that you want to see if you're a Magna player. We're going to be seeing the -1 player showing their hand, flipping that security. That's basically a scoop right there. And that is just so rough, right? I mean, kind of showcasing for Magnamon at least, like, why it's such a terrifying deck. You saw that Magnamon Evo in the back go straight for the attack, survive, and then is able to get that Awakening of the Golden Knight. So you Evo for 3 instead of the 5. So at least a decent, like, a very nice showcase of why Magnamon is considered one of the best decks in the format. And honestly, it is one of those decks that, if it has the right pieces, it's just so devastating to see. So, maybe better luck next time for Myotismon. But hey, Magnamon does what Magnamon does.